Hello, everyone. Welcome to the series named Conversation with Kushal once again. Today, we have two special and talented girls who have secured All India Rank 1 and All India Rank 3 in their CA Finals examination. They have excelled in the arena of accounting, taxation, auditing, and what not. So, let me welcome Komal Jain, who secured All India Rank 1 in CA Finals November 2020, and Rajvi, who secured All India Rank 3 in CA Finals November 2020. Heartiest congratulations to both of you and keep it up with such an amazing achievement.
Thank you, Kushal, and thank you for having us here. Thank you.
Thank you, Kushal. Thank you for having us. And I would like to point out one thing that your videos have really helped. And even the resources which you shared, the way you told us how to summarize things, it has really helped. And you're doing great work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you,
so much.
Kushal.
Means a lot to me. Like it's really an honor that AIR1 and AIR3 are saying this. So it means my channel has become successful now.
Definitely.
Yeah, so just to introduce them in brief, so Komal has done her articleship from KPMG International Tax, and after that she switched to industrial training in Mondelez. And after industrial training, also she secured an All India Rank 1, which is itself a very huge achievement. And speaking about Rajvi, she did her articleship from Deloitte M&A Tax. So you both have had an exposure of Big Four plus industrial training, so that is also very amazing. So just speaking about your feelings, so how was your feeling when you got the rank? So Komal, did you expect that you're going to get All India Rank 1? How was it?
I mean, expectations तो नहीं थे because articleship में, sorry, IPCC में there was a rank, so it was on our minds, naturally. But जब papers दिए and the papers were so out of the box, and उसके बाद तो we were really, it was so vague कि क्या होगा, and expectations बिल्कुल भी नहीं थे. And when I got a call from the president saying that you've got a rank, I mean, for 2-3 hours, I couldn't, understand what was happening. I mean, it was so difficult to digest, and the
Yeah.
feeling is still unbelievable. I mean, absolutely unbelievable.
Right. So you had All India Rank 4 in IPCC, right?
Four, yeah.
तो फिर तो एक्सपेक्ट कर ही रहे होगे आप रैंक तो टॉप 3 में 4
मतलब
था
पर
तो
पेपर्स के बाद नहीं लग रहा था. द पॉइंट इज दैट, आई मीन, वर्क करना था डेफिनेटली टॉप 3 में आने के लिए, बट पेपर्स काफी आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स हो गया था. तो
सब रैंकर्स ऐसे ही बोलते हैं कि एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर रहे थे लेकिन टुवर्ड्स द एंड आ जाते. Rajvi, what about you? You were expecting a rank, like how was it?
Likewise, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing, but yeah, absolutely. And even the planning, like it had gone for a toss because of 4-5 postponements. So, I mean, we weren't in the momentum throughout, and plus the papers were a little out of the box. So, I mean, the rank was not expected, and obviously getting such a good rank was really not expected. And
you had which rank in IPCC?
39th.
Okay, all right. And you both of
So,
you were
yeah,
going to give May 20 attempt, is it?
correct.
Okay, तो frustration तो बहुत ज़्यादा ही रहा होगा of postponement of exams. Like I think all the frustration has just been positive for both of you, and all your hard work has been very successful. Like you can see the results now.
fortunately.
Absolutely. So amazing. So how many months did you get for your preparation? So Komal, like you did your industrial training. So how many months you
Yeah.
got?
So if I was to talk about May 20, it was originally I got somewhere between 3.5 to 4. So it was somewhere between
Okay.
3.5 to 4 months of leave
Okay.
with
And
industrial
Rajvi,
training.
you?
I got around 5 to 5.5 months study leave, but then it got pushed back, and in fact, the time started accumulating. So it was a little negative energy, but
Yeah.
it was good that we kept up the momentum.
I agree. Like if I would have been in your place, even I don't know like how I would have reacted. मतलब इतने एग्जाम्स बार बार पोस्टपोन होना और एक एक महीने बाद नोटिफिकेशन आ रहा है कि ये 10 दिन बाद एक महीने बाद पोस्टपोन हो गया, एक महीने बाद हो गया. So in this particular phase, like since so much negativity was going around, how did you both keep up the momentum? So how you used to stay motivated? What was the source? Could you share it with everyone? Komal, you can go first.
Yes. Yeah. So pehle, we prepared, and then when the first notification came out, that time it was still okay. Okay, understandable. The situation is such. Then after the second one, whenever the notification used to come, I used to, 3-4 days. So I was in complete, I mean, depressed, too much depressed. I mean, how will I prepare it again, and how will I plan everything again? And I mean, it was very difficult. So what I used to do is 3-4 days I used to completely keep the books aside to not let the negativity go in. And in those 3-4 days, I used to, watch movies, do whatever I like, to
Okay.
divert myself from all this negativity around. And after 3-4 days, I used to think that, I've worked for so long, so I don't want to give up, in the end. So
Right.
let's gather all the motivation and patience that I could, and then sit back again. So every time it was, almost the same, that, 3-4 days, just keep it aside and
Right.
gather
Right.
back the motivation and then just get back. So I think this was this about.
Right. Rajvi, what about you?
So likewise for me, like I just,
Hmm.
yeah. So it was the same thing. So obviously we used to get demotivated after the notification, but you have to make sure that you do not forget the end goal and keep that in mind always. So
Right.
take a few days off, do what you like, and then come back and again start planning, write on a piece of paper, like what will be your future plan considering the next date. So I mean,
Right.
that was about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, get it from the both of you. Now, like since you both have done your articleship from a Big Four, let's discuss some of your work profile in Big Four. And Komal, you can also share your industrial training profile as well. So let's begin with you, Komal. Like, how was your articleship? What was your work profile in KPMG?
Yeah. So so in KPMG, I was in corporate plus international tax, the
Hmm.
department. So
Hmm.
basically, there were three domains in
Hmm.
one department. So it
Hmm.
was domestic taxation,
Hmm.
international taxation, plus a bit of regulatory as well. So
Okay.
regulatory, you mean FEMA and all
Hmm.
those foreign exchange compliances that you have
Hmm.
to do. So it was a
Hmm.
very broad profile, and it gave me a very holistic perspective of tax. So we had domestic tax assignments in which we had this litigation advisory. So that was really nice and something different, and it was very good. When I used to study DT, I used to correlate a lot of things, and that really helped that way.
Okay.
And a very
Hmm.
interesting part was the FEMA area that we used to deal with.
Hmm.
So we used to directly deal with RBI. So we used to
Hmm.
make applications for the clients if they want to propose any arrangement that is in compliance with FEMA.
Hmm.
So we used to make applications and we used to make those submissions to the Reserve Bank of India so that we could get approvals for
Hmm.
them. So
Hmm.
basically, we have this thing, automatic route and approval route.
Yeah. Right.
So for approval route, we used to make those applications to the
Hmm.
RBI. So
Hmm.
that time I got to visit RBI a lot of times, and I mean
Okay.
that was wonderful.
What about you?
Yeah, so I was in the mergers and acquisitions tax domain, but it was like not like the name says, it was very, very broad. So basically, it was a tax and regulatory group. So we had to see implications from direct tax point of view, as well as from a regulatory standpoint, say
Hmm.
Companies Act or FEMA or stamp duty perspective.
Hmm.
So we had to look at all of it. And there was a different team for indirect tax, obviously.
Hmm.
So talking about the work, I got to do a lot of tax due diligences.
Hmm.
So that is where the Deloitte Finance due diligence team outsources the tax work to us.
Hmm.
So we get to understand like how a company operates, its tax computations, and if there's a proposed merger or an investment, then what will be the tax implications of that, and how can we can streamline the tax,
Hmm.
or we can probably do a jurisdiction analysis and read the international tax treaties. So that way, it was really, really good. And there were also many structuring or advisory assignments where companies used to come to us to structure a deal in such a manner that it is tax efficient and so on. So there were many liaising with the clients and with the investors. So it was a really good experience overall.
Right. It's very interesting to hear such an experience in your articleship days. यहाँ पे हमने तो क्या vouching, verification, auditing यही सब किया था articleship में, and yeah, you guys got such an amazing exposure in your M&A, tax, and litigation department. So Komal, as I was saying, you also did industrial training. So could you just
Yeah.
tell us your work profile? How was it, and how was it different from your articleship days?
Right. So my industrial training was in corporate finance and particularly in supply chain forex.
Okay.
So basically, I was in the procurement finance team.
Hmm.
So we used to partner with the procurement team. I mean, the team which was in charge of procuring the raw materials.
Hmm.
So we used to partner with them, and we used to look in the finance aspects of the procurement.
Hmm.
So in forex specifically, so Mondelez International is an MNC, and it has reach across a number of countries,
Right.
and there are a lot of transactions between the branches itself and transactions, import export transactions.
Hmm.
So we had close to 50-55 currency pairs in which
Hmm.
there was a forex exposure,
Hmm.
basically to imports, exports, and all those.
Hmm.
So the team's task was to basically hedge this exposure. I mean, the exposure was very, very huge in
Hmm.
$1 billion. So idea was to hedge this exposure using the products which are available in the derivative market. So
Right.
we basically devise strategies using forwards, options,
Hmm.
collars.
Okay.
So the team basically used to track the currency movements, track the exposure that we have, and devise a best strategy to
Right.
hedge such a big exposure. And interestingly, even I got opportunity to be a part of a project which was an automation project
Okay.
using Tableau. So I
Hmm.
mean, Tableau is the talk of the town, and
Hmm.
the software has changed a lot of things. So working on Tableau was a very very great experience. We used to partner with the IT team and developed an automation tool, which will you would just have to put some inputs, and it will automatically give you a detailed analysis of.
Right.
So that project was also something that was very very exciting, and we were involved in setting the logics and doing it from scratch.
Hmm.
So it was a wonderful experience.
Awesome, awesome. Sounds very fascinating as well. So, Komal, just to ask you, if industry, you've done your industrial training and you did your articleship from a Big Four, like what you were to choose, industry versus a Big Four?
So I think I'd choose industry over a Big
Mm,
Four. The very point being that the Big Four is a client-facing role,
mm,
and when you are facing your clients, there are
mm,
stringent deadlines,
mm,
and there are basically there are a lot of things that you have to always be on your toes, and the
mm,
culture then becomes a little hectic, and
mm,
longer working hours. And when you're in
right.
industry, the deadlines are not so stringent, and
Mm,
the work-life balance is amazing. I mean, I got
right.
to, doing industrial training and, studying for finals, I could balance it really well. And,
Right.
there were no longer hours. So I think that perspective industry was really nice.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for the answer. So now let's quickly discuss about your coaching journey as well, and maybe we can then jump to your CA final subject by strategy. So just to ask you both, where did you join your coaching classes?
We both are from JK Shah classes,
Okay.
Mumbai.
Awesome. So do you think, like, I'm just asking your personal opinion, do you really think that CA final students should join coaching for all the 8 subjects? What's your opinion on this? Komal, you can go first.
Okay. So I think coaching helps in one thing. I mean, when you just sit and do it yourself,
Mm,
maybe there are some things which you won't understand it
mm,
completely. So
mm,
I mean, to get a very good, strong understanding,
mm.
I mean, it's a little essential, I think, so that there are no
Okay.
gaps absolutely in understanding any particular subject. And secondly, it instills, a discipline.
Mm,
So, I mean, you should have a very, very strong self-discipline if you were to do a subject yourself.
mm,
And so I think classes make you a lot disciplined. I mean,
mm,
I wouldn't have woken up at 6 in the morning and
mm,
studied if there were no
mm.
classes. And, if
Right.
there are classes, you have to do that. So I think the discipline and the understanding part, so I think it really helped that way.
Mm.
So I think, yeah, I think coaching would be advisable.
Okay. Raji, like, do you have some different opinion or it's the same?
Exactly my point. The same thing. So discipline
Okay.
is very, very important. I mean,
Right.
I don't think we know that you used to wake up at 5:30 in the morning, but we are not people who would
Right.
have such dedication. So
I
yeah, that helped a lot to, ensure that we finish a major chunk of our syllabus before the study leave so that we can focus on our self-study as well. And it really helps in conceptual clarity so that
mm,
because the exam papers will always not be the same as the institute questions, so it helps in clearing your concepts and cracking
right.
a little out of the box questions.
Right. Agree. Yeah. So get your viewpoint on coachings as well. And thanks for watching my videos. Like, you know the time that I wake up. So I mean, you're
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
the videos. Thanks a lot. So like, let's jump down to your CA final subject by strategy now. So this would be a little detailed analysis. So wherein we want to hear like what was your strategy for each and every subject. So what we'll do, like we'll just go subject by subject. Maybe Komal, you can go first, and Rajvi, you can add anything if Komal has like if you have done anything additional. So
Sure.
like for FR, let's begin by subject. So for financial reporting, Komal, what was your strategy?
Okay, so financial reporting, I think I'll just divide it into two parts. One is the Ind AS part,
Hmm.
and the other is the practical part, consolidation and business combination, the practical longer sums.
Hmm.
So for Ind AS, my strategy was to in the first read, I basically read the entire Ind AS in detail,
Hmm.
and recollected what was taught in the classes, and
Hmm.
got a good understanding.
Hmm.
And then I made sure that for every Ind AS, I made a 2-3 pager summary,
Hmm.
and that summary would be I used to write in my words very very crisp sentences. I mean,
Okay.
like in very extremely short way I can
Hmm.
summarize it,
Hmm.
so that all points are covered at one place. I mean, the highlights or the crux of every
Hmm.
concept.
Okay.
So in that way, I used to, do it for all the Indias, because the length is, I mean, the Indias are vast and they're not as small as the ASs were to be.
Mm.
So I think this really helped in the further revisions.
Okay.
And secondly, I think for the chapters like consolidation, business combination, which is a terror among, everyone, that,
Yeah.
there's so long sums and how do we approach it.
Right.
So I made sure that I had a map in mind. So
Mm.
whenever I used to see any question of these chapters,
Mm.
I had a map that, okay, I have to start with this and I have to
Mm.
go in this flow, no
Mm.
matter what is the kind of question that comes up. So the
Mm.
flow was very clear. So I think that
Okay.
really helped to crack any particular question and not miss out on anything.
Mm.
So map, there should be a clear map in your mind. So that
Mm.
way. And I think one more thing for FR would be to write as much papers as possible, because it
Mm.
is a lengthy paper, and the high chances that you won't be able to complete it in that time. So
Mm.
mocks
Mm.
really helped to complete the paper, and I made sure that I can plan it really well. So this was for
Okay.
FR.
Awesome. So Rajvi, like, what was your strategy for FR in addition to what
Yeah,
Komal said?
so yeah, very rightly mentioned by Komal. Apart from that, I mean, for all the subjects, you have to ensure that you do the revision test papers and the mock test papers, as well as the past question papers of the institute.
Mm.
Because in FR especially, there are many sums which are not there in the study material and which they do repeatedly ask in the exams,
Mm.
which have slightly different concepts. So you have to
Mm.
make sure that you have a detailed list of the sums you want to refer, like just before the exam days.
Mm.
That really helps you to streamline and make your plan as to how you want to approach the exam day.
Yeah.
Right.
And adding to,
Agree.
what just Rajvi said about the
Mm.
kind of questions that are coming up. So I think it requires integration of multiple IND-ASs in one
Hmm.
question. So
Right.
I
Correct.
think when
Mm.
you study the IND-AS, you have to be very conscious, and you have to, think that, okay, if is there any integration possible with some other IND-AS, while you're
Mm.
just studying. So I
Mm.
think that is also very important, and that approach has to be, taken care of. So that is one.
Right. Completely
Yeah,
agree.
for this subject, especially, like, you should study all the indices at a stretch. I mean,
Mm.
do not keep long breaks between different indices, because
Mm.
that will not help you integrate the concept. So especially
Absolutely.
for this subject, and you should like have a dedicated flow of which index to do first in
Mm.
your subsequent revisions as well,
Mm.
because that will help you understand each one better.
Absolutely. Completely agree with both of you on this. So Rajvi, let's discuss your SFM strategy.
SFM, I think Komal should start. She has scored great marks,
Okay, how
86
much?
in
How,
SFM.
oh wow, that's awesome. So like, what
Yeah.
are your highest marks, Komal? In which subject you've scored the highest?
I think FR and SFM is the same, 86.
Okay, awesome. And Rajvi, you?
Law 86.
Oh, law. That's crazy. Awesome, awesome. So Komal, I think you can go with SFM and probably I'll ask law to Rajvi.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So starting with SFM is, I think, the most logical subject of the entire CA curriculum.
Mm.
There is, I think, very, very
Because
less
you did
thing to
industrial
remember.
training in Forex and
No,
corporate finance.
no. Even, setting
Mm.
that apart, also, I think it's very logical, because there are very few things you need to remember.
Mm.
It's not something you have to mug up or remember
Yeah,
a lot. It's very, very logical that it goes.
right.
So
I
my
agree.
strategy for SFM was basically to make concept notes of every chapter. I
Mm.
mean, maybe make it, or have it from the classes or whatever.
Mm.
So first, there should be a very clear concept notes of every chapter, in that,
Mm.
all the concepts should be covered at one place.
Mm.
So I just used to go through, and when I used to study those concept notes, I used to imagine, I mean, what kind of questions can be framed on this particular concept.
Mm.
And then I to be very conscious about that, and try and analyze that part. And
Mm.
once the concepts are done, I used to do the sums.
Mm.
And even while doing the sums, I used to make sure I only focus on the different adjustment in every sum. I mean,
Mm.
it's not just possible that you do the entire sums again and again,
Mm.
multiple times. So
Mm.
different adjustments was taken care, and I used to
Mm.
highlight it. Okay, this is the crux of this sum, is what I want to know.
Mm.
And I think SFM, uh, considering the recent trend of SFM papers that are
Mm.
being asked, I think
Mm.
what is very, very important is your grip on the concepts. I mean, nothing
Mm.
like that. You do
Right.
500 sums and it is not going to help, because in the question, in the exam, it's going to be completely different.
Okay.
So I mean, understand it very, very logically, and
Mm.
from every perspective, build your concepts very, very strong. And I
Mm.
think old course PM is definitely a must do for something like SFM.
Right, right. This time I think SFM paper was a little difficult, right? And it was
Yeah,
a little
very out of the
tricky as well.
box.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still you scored 86. That's amazing.
Thank
Really.
you.
Yeah. Raji, you'd like to add anything for SFM?
Okay, so as rightly mentioned by Komal, I think I follow the same strategy. The focus should always be on concept building, especially in tricky chapters like derivatives and forex, which take a lot of time to understand. It's better to write your understanding in your own language so that you can revise it much better. And for chapters like portfolio management, again, you should make a list of all the formulae, which helps you in revising it on a daily basis.
Okay, awesome. Agree on this as well. So let's move on to auditing. So which is the scariest subject. At least for me, it was very scary. So who wants to go first?
Raj, we can go for theory. I think she's good at it.
Yeah, sure.
That is equally scary for, I think, like majority of the students. So yeah, audit, I followed like my professor's notes. Plus, I ensured that you refer the institute modules at least once. Like you see whether all the concepts are covered in your notes, and if they are not, you integrate them in your notes and ensure that all the small points are definitely covered, because the institute can ask from every nook and corner of the module.
Right.
And yeah, that's about it. And for audit, again, you have to make a summary of, say, the Caro clause numbers and the form numbers and the Companies Act, companies audit limits, etc. Also, you should ensure that you cover the syllabus 100%. Like many people skip the small chapters in audit, but that is not advisable, because even in our attempt, they ask like 10 marks MCQs from a very small chapter, which people tend to skip. So you should ensure that you do 100% of the syllabus in theory papers at least.
Okay, absolutely. Komal, you'd like to add something?
Yeah, so I think one thing that I think is very critical in audit is to the questions are very similar, and you usually tend to write a different answer for a different question. I mean, that happened with me most of the times, and I don't know about anyone else. So I think when doing questions, I was very careful about the fact, I mean, what to write when. So because everything seems so similar, and you would generally this really happens. So I think that is something that I took utmost care. I mean, what kind of question and what should I be answering in that particular question. So that was one. And secondly, since there were a lot of answers you need to memorize, and a lot of points that you need to keep in mind, so I always approach that in a very logical way. I mean, so that I could remember at least 4 or 5 points of a particular topic logically. No key, no, I mean, mnemonics or no acronyms, nothing, because I think that creates a lot of confusion in the end. So logically, I used to just try to memorize the keywords of 4 or 5 points of every answer. So at least I could write something logically in the exam.
Right.
So I mean, that was it.
Right, get it. So let's move to the law expert now, Rajvi. So how was your law strategy? How did you score 86 marks?
Honestly, I have no idea how I scored like such huge marks in law. But I think constant revision helped a lot in law, and covering the entire syllabus. Again, in law, people tend to skip on the small chapters and the economic law chapters, etc. So you should not skip on them. And yeah, constant revision, and the flow of the answer should be in a very sequential manner. As in, I mean, everybody says this, but so it should start from the provisions, and then you kind of compare the question with the provisions and integrate them, and finally you give a concluding answer, which should be like in unclear, it should be in very clear terms. So like the flow should be very good. And even in law, for MCQs, you have many things to memorize: the penalties, the form numbers, the section numbers. Even for section numbers, it's good to remember because it adds value to your answer. So it's good to remember the section numbers also. And yeah, law, again, you have to do all the previous attempt questions and make a list of whatever mistakes you are making or whatever is not covered in your book. So what I used to do is, whenever I used to solve a question and if I get it wrong, I used to make a note of it in my notebook so that I do not need to solve the question again. So that really helped on the last day on revising all the things which I went wrong in earlier.
Right, get it. Komal, what about you?
I think that sums up really well. But one thing that I want to mention is I get, basically law ka jo language hai, that is very, complicated. And in the material, the answers are so long that people don't know, how do we remember this? So what I used to do is, for every answer, I did not, just care what is the format in which the answers are written in the institute material. My only focus was to know which section to quote, how to relate the facts and what is the conclusion. So I think if you know this in every answer, I mean, there's any answer that you can crack. So you don't have to read the long answers for every question that is being given. And you
Right.
should have a map in mind, and you should only focus on the, main part. And you can just, form your own answers. So I think that, helps to get over that legal language also.
Right. Right. Get it. Let's go. Let's jump to group 2 now. So for
Yeah.
costing, what was your strategy, both of you?
Rajvi, please. I mean, you really need to take this up.
Costing again is a like very new thing because of the new course, and people tend to focus more on practical, but that is the harsh truth that the institute focuses more on theory and
Right.
analysis.
Right.
So it's very important to understand what problem the company is facing with what is given in the question, and then answer. And also so this I have reiterated in other videos also, that there are various list of verbs which the institute has uploaded. So you have to ensure that if they say analyze, then you do not put a tabular or a calculative format. You write it in sentences. If you
Okay.
don't, even if your answer is correct, they might not give you marks for that. So that is very important.
Baapre,
And
this even I didn't know,
yeah,
yaar. I wish you were there in
Uh,
my attempt. I would have scored better in costing, maybe. Yeah. Go
so good
ahead.
to hear that. Yeah. So apart from that, I think costing again, the extra information, like if you read business newspapers daily, that helps you in answering the questions and in building up on your vocabulary and in analyzing the problem which a company faces. So that is also a good way to approach the subject. Apart from that, I think many people tend to do the old course PM, but like I did not refer it. I think that is more from the old course point of view, and they
Right.
have like huge questions. So
Yeah.
it's better to focus on the new course study material only for costing.
Right. Absolutely. Komal, what about you?
I mean, that really covers it. But just one thing
Okay.
is that focus more on quality and not the length. So people,
Yeah.
just try to, just hover around only one point and, make the answers long. But,
Yeah.
I think if the examiner realizes that you're just trying to, increase the length of the answer, I mean, there's absolutely no point. So focus on quality more than quantity in costing. Is what I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's move to the elective paper. So which elective you guys had chosen?
Mine was economic laws.
Okay. And
And mine
yours?
was international tax.
Okay. So you can share like strategy for economic law and international tax.
Yeah. So, okay. So for economic laws, I mean, there is only one strategy in elective that you need to follow, is what you need to know the material very well. I mean, you have to basically read it. The main thing is understanding, definitely. I mean, even though you have the book in hand, if you've not understood things well, you don't know what even to apply in the question.
Right.
So understanding is definitely, very critical for something like elective as well. And basically this subject has no, you shouldn't ignore this subject. I mean, it's very important, because people think that okay, there are only 7 subjects and ek to elective hai, and I mean it carries 100 marks and it is equally important like
Yeah.
any other subject. So give time, give it importance, understand it well, and know your material very well, and have a
Right.
primary and a secondary material ka distinction. I mean, what should be a primary material, and what is a material that you should refer only when you need it. So what distinction you should be very clear, do proper highlighting, summarizing. I mean, that is what everyone knows. So that is all about
Right.
economic laws.
Raji, what about international tax?
Correct. So the same thing for international tax, because that is a very vast subject, like as compared to the other electives. So you have to ensure that you have a primary study material in place, and you also carry other reference books, say your direct tax modules, or I had carried the Income Tax Bare Act as well, and that really helped me crack one or two questions. But you have to ensure that the institute module is your base, or any other book for that matter, and you basically master on that. You know where each point is, and you have equal highlightings, and also all the case studies which have been uploaded. There may be a few concepts which are repeated in the exam, so you should know which case study has which concepts, and you should make a list of all of that, so that in the exam, if you find say a question on permanent establishment, you know which case studies had that, and you can pick up the language of the answers from there in order to save upon time. Because again, electives and especially international tax is a very lengthy paper, although we get form for us. So that is very important. And again, like the focus should always be on concept building, because here again you have all the, I mean, you need not memorize anything since it's an open book paper, but you should have a clear understanding of the laws in order to crack this.
Right. Get it. Let's move on to the most vast subject of our CA finals, direct tax. So how was the strategy for direct tax?
Rajvi, you can take this up.
You were equally good at it, Komal. Okay, come on, I'll say.
So you guys are saying like जिसको ज़्यादा marks मिले वो पहले बोलेगा और जिसको कम marks मिले वो next मिलेगा. Okay.
So again, for direct tax, I had made like handwritten notes for most of the chapters. So that really helped me revise in the 1.5 day. And yeah, again here you have to make a list of the learning, and it is necessary to solve questions in direct tax. Many people just read the provisions and feel they will get to, like, they will be easily equal to solving the question paper, but it is very, very important to solve questions, especially in long questions like PGBP, etc. You need to know the flow, and you need to know how you have to structure the answer. Right. And also there is stepwise marking. So you have to ensure that for each adjustment given in the question, you give proper explanations, because that obviously fetches marks. Although you may have the correct solution in your mind, you have to put it to paper, otherwise you won't get marks. Right. And again here, it's necessary to cover the entire syllabus in the 1.5 days. So you can make short summaries, or you can even make voice memos for the chapters which are like small, or which you tend to give a lot of time to, but it generally does not have that much weightage. So you can make short summaries, or you can make voice memos for them. That really helps cover the syllabus well. Right. Get it. Komal, what about you?
This was on point. I mean, everything that was necessary, completely on point, and nothing to add.
All right. So let's move on to the indirect tax, the last subject. So Komal, what was your strategy for indirect tax?
I mean, indirect tax is a pretty, one of the favorite subjects of everyone, because it's, it's a nice subject. And what is important is the module, definitely. I mean, no other source can, can be very much useful for indirect tax. I mean, module just be very, very, and one thing is that people tend to leave FTP, customs, and usko thoda kam importance dete hai. So I think this point I want to really stress on ki bilkul bhi chodna nahi. I mean, in our paper, FTP was asked for a very good weightage. So, and I think 90% of people leave it for options. So that is not too bad. And I mean, don't do it in length, but at least know the main points, or the, jo thoda bahut hai basics, wo to at least pata hona chahiye, even if you don't do it in a lot of length. So I think bilkul bhi, don't just focus on GST and ignore everything else. I mean, common topics, customs, everything is equally important and has a very good weightage in the paper. So that is there. Also in GST, there are long questions that you need to solve, and you have to integrate a lot of provision. I mean, integrating is the crux of GST. Ek hi question mein time of supply, place of supply, value of supply, everything in just one. And, sabko, kaise saath mein integrate karna is very, very, very important, and solve questions as much as you can for IDT is what I want to say.
Right. Get it. Rajvi, what about you?
I think I completely agree with Komal on what she said. And apart from that, especially for DT, IDT and law, I would say you should focus a lot on amendments, because even though they may not ask a direct question, it may be part of the long computation questions or something like that. And a small mistake might cost you a lot of marks. So it's necessary to focus on the amendments also. It's equally important. Right. Yeah, thanks the two of you. Like, you guided all the C aspirants very well. I think like more or less you both had similar strategies. Uski wajah se it's first and third rank, like it is almost similar only. So yeah. So I think thanks a lot for sharing your strategies in detail. So I'll be just asking one question on a piece of advice if you were to give to May 21 students, or maybe CA aspirants, all the CA aspirants. So what is that one piece of advice which you both would like to give? Komal, you can go first.
Yeah, so one advice that I would like to give is, I think, two things which is most important. So the first one being that do not expect that whatever you're studying is going to come in the paper. I mean, just because questions are different doesn't mean the paper is difficult or not manageable. Always study and hope for the worst. I mean, that the paper is going to be the worst and as difficult as possible. And if you keep that in mind, and you have a very good coverage over the entire subject and a very good conceptual understanding, then I think think no matter how the paper is, you will definitely be able to do it. And I think to seeing the trend of the previous 1-2 attempts, I think this is very, very essential, that you have a good conceptual understanding and expect that there are going to be different questions in the paper, and it is not going to be what you're studying. And secondly, what is important is to keep the positivity. I mean, that is, I think, important than anything else in your study leave. You need to be very, very positive and motivated. If you feel that the negativity is coming in, just put your books aside, take a break, divert a mind, because I think that is very important, that you be positive throughout. So I think this too is what I want to
Absolutely. So being positive, that is very important. You and I agree, because if we lose positivity or lose hope or lose confidence, then that is going to create problems towards the end, and it'll
Yes.
hamper your performance. Completely agree. Rajvi, what about you? One piece of advice?
Yeah, so I completely second Komal on whatever she said. Apart from that, I think planning is very, very important. Like you should have a plan, a rough plan in your mind, and a detailed day-wise plan as to what you want to do in how many hours. That really helps in completing the syllabus on time and in doing multiple revisions. Especially for theory papers, it's necessary that you do a little more revision than the practical papers. And practical, you can probably solve things when you are a little tired of theory or at the end of the day or something like that. That really helps. And I think for the May 21 students, there are still 3 more months, so do not lose hope, and do not think that एक group नहीं होगा, एक ही group करते हैं or something like that. It's very essential to build up the momentum and go for it, because like if you do not believe in yourself, who else will? So I think just go crack it.
Absolutely. Thanks for those words of wisdom as well. So last question to the two of you. What are your future plans? Like, what have you planned now? So Komal, you can go ahead.
Yeah. So, I mean, I am personally looking for a corporate career as of now. I mean, in maybe, I have 2-3 fields open. I have not got the time to sit and think about it in a lot of detail since the
Of
results.
course, yeah, I can understand that, of course.
Yeah. So, the 2-3 options which I'm looking at as of now would be consulting, corporate finance, or maybe something in core finance. So, we definitely need a lot of help of yours here. So, I mean, we'll largely finish and then we can ask you the questions we have to.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I'd love to answer them.
Yeah. Rajvi, maybe you can just...
Yeah,
Rajvi,
I mean, it's the same thing. So there are 3 options in mind, say a consulting career or something in core finance, or joining a corporate. But again, like it has been so overwhelming in the last few days, we haven't really got time to sit and think about what we actually want to do. And your guidance and words of wisdom would really help us in making an informed choice.
Yeah, sure. So like if you have any questions, you can just ask me. Go ahead.
So, Kushal, so the thing that we want to know is, there are 3 domains. So one is this consulting, the management consulting thing, investment banking, and something like corporate finance.
Right.
So all the 3 domains are so appealing and so exciting from the outside that we are just unable to decide, I mean, which to choose and how to take a decision. I mean, what to choose.
Yeah. So I'll just
if you could
brief
decide.
you. Yeah, sure. So see, like in terms of choosing management consulting versus investment banking versus corporate finance. So corporate finance and investment banking, they both are similar. So like the main work in investment bank or a corporate finance role would be identifying and evaluating mergers and acquisition opportunities and evaluating various fundraising options. So for example, if a company wants to go for an IPO, or if a company wants to raise funds, whether it should raise funds through a rights issue, through a equity issue, through a debt, like debt borrowing. So this is the major work in a corporate finance role. And even in an investment bank, this is a major kind of role. Now, speaking about management consulting, like all these top 3 firms, MBB, McKinsey, BCG, and Bain. So the major role over there is about identifying problems and solving them. So the client is going to come towards you. He's going to throw any problem. कोई भी problem हो सकता है. So recently I interviewed a person who was in BCG for 3 years, Viren Rajani. So he was only saying that problem मतलब ऐसा हो सकता है कि एक कंपनी आती है बीसीजी के पास एंड द कंपनी सेइंग कि मेरा रेवेन्यू जो है 20% ईयर ऑन ईयर ग्रो हो रहा है बट आई वांट इट टू ग्रो बाय 50% ईयर ऑन ईयर. So it could be as simple to hear, but it is very difficult when it comes to implementing. So this is the major benefit of going into a management consulting, that you get to understand the ground reality of any business. Because आपको अगर solution देने बोला है, so you'll dive like deep dive in to the business model, then you will understand what exactly the problem is, and then you'll give the solution. So that is one of the best things about management consulting, is that you get to understand the ground reality of any business. So consulting is a very glamorous role. So that is a dream job for each and every CA aspirant. So since you both of you have got secured ranks, so these companies are going to approach you. Each and every company is going to call you. They'll create WhatsApp groups as well. So I think these companies will create WhatsApp groups within a week or within 2 weeks once the rankers list is out. I'm not sure if the rankers list comes or no, but these companies create WhatsApp groups. So in terms of deciding, like you should only decide whether you want a particular role in mergers and acquisitions. If you are really interested into finance, core finance, and if you are interested in valuations, like all the multiples, FCFF, FCFE approach, weighted average cost of capital, then investment banking is a very good role for you. But if you want to understand the ground reality of any business, then management consulting is best. So if you're a person who's very curious to know things, and if you're a person who likes to solve problems the way they come, then management consulting is the best option for you. And trust me, the exposure which you get in a management consulting firm, it is very, very good. So like right from the first day itself, you would be told to sit in front of a CEO of a multinational company. So like the exposure which you're going to get, that is going to be completely different.
Yeah, thanks, Kushal. I mean, this answers everything that we wanted to
Yeah.
hear. Rajvi, anything that you
Definitely.
want to?
Yeah, so we had one more question in mind as to since you've joined Aditya Birla Group
Yeah.
as a leader at the leadership program position,
Yeah.
so we wanted to understand how your day looks like and how do you like approach the job and what is your work like?
Yeah, so I'll just brief about the finance leadership program. So Aditya Birla Group's finance leadership program is for CA final rank holders, and there are 3 stints of 4 months each in the first year. Okay, so in the first year we are rotated across 3 different departments, and all 3 departments would be in some different companies, like one in Ultratech, one in Hindalco, or one in the main central function. So it's like they are giving us an exposure of almost all the businesses within a span of 1 year, and after 1 year they tell us to choose which particular department you want to work in, so that we get to know like in which particular sector we are interested in and which particular department we have liked. So after a period of 1 year we are placed into a final role, and that is the final placement which is done after the period of 1 year. So my stint one it was in strategy and business development department of Aditya Birla Capital. So my main role over there was to identify and evaluate M&A opportunities for Aditya Birla Capital companies. So Aditya Birla Capital has subsidiaries, like it has NBFC, it has HFC Housing Finance Company, it has life insurance, health insurance. So that was one of the major role. My stint two is in corporate finance department. So it is corporate finance of all the group companies. So this department's main work is to identify M&A opportunities once again, but it is at a group level and not specific to Aditya Birla Capital only. So
Okay.
corporate finance, like it is one of the best experience I've had in the last 4 months as well. So it is very hectic, no doubt. Like you'll have to slog yourself for 15, 16 hours also sometimes during weekdays, and you'll have to work on weekends as well. But trust me, like we have to keep this kind of an attitude that we are only 21, 22, or 23. So basically, this is such an age wherein if we slog now, then and only then we'll be able to learn and grasp things much better. सो ऐसा नहीं सोचना है कि यार इतना काम करवाएंगे 12 12 14 14 घंटे तो मैं नहीं करने वाला काम. बट इट्स लाइक यू शुड थिंक इन अ पॉजिटिव मैनर कि इतना काम कराएंगे तो मेरे को हर घंटे में कुछ ना कुछ नया सीखने मिल रहा है. आई एम एबल टू लर्न न्यू थिंग्स एंड दिस इज व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू अप्लाई इन द फ्यूचर. Be it wherever you go, this is going to help you, no doubt. So this is all about Aditya
Exactly.
Birla Group's finance leadership program, I think, and my stint 3 would happen from 10th of February. So I'm waiting for my stint 3 now. Even I'm not sure where I'm going to get. So once it is placed, I'll get to know.
Yeah, all the best, Kushal, for that.
Okay. All the best.
Thanks.
Good to hear this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks a lot.
So, Kushal, one last thing that I would want to ask is,
Yeah.
so how do you choose from companies with equal standings? I mean, if there's an equal profile which is being offered,
Hmm.
and the companies are equally good, having equal brand value
Hmm.
as such. So, I mean, how do you decide among that? I mean, because there are a lot of companies which are in the same sector or the same industry.
Right.
They're equally good. So, how to
Yeah.
choose amongst them?
Yeah.
If you could just.
The best and the easiest solution for this problem is to reach out to people who are working in those companies. So now on LinkedIn, if you reach out to people and just send them a connection request, no one denies a connection request on LinkedIn. So each and everyone accepts connection request and just try to make new connections and talk to new people, as many new people as possible, because the more you'll talk to new people, like the more you'll get insights of their work profile and the company where they are working in. So let's take an example like of Aditya Birla Group itself. So you can reach out to me or any other particular FLP, any other particular person who's working in Aditya Birla Group. If you're say applying in HUL or if you're applying in Marico, talk to people who have worked there for at least 1 year so that they can share their experience. And trust me, these people are the best ones and they are going to give you correct advice. So no one is going to praise his organization if he is not satisfied with the work, and no one is going to criticize his organization if he's very well satisfied with the work. So each and everyone is going to give an honest opinion. And trust me, the easiest solution for this is just reach out to them, talk to them and ask them like, this is the problem. Like you have offered, like you've got offered from two of the companies. Even they might be in a position, they would have it got offers from 2 or 3 companies. And they might be in a dilemma, like which company to choose from. So ask them their viewpoint and maybe it'll help you to choose which company to go in. So this is the best solution, I think.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much.
This really helps. Thank you.
No worries.
Another just a parting question. So basically, so we understood what your thought process was when joining Aditya Birla Group.
Yeah.
But like looking back, do you think it was a correct decision? And like, what would you want to say about, you know, that at this point of time, say 10 months down the line, how do you evaluate your decision?
Right. So, you know, here one more point I'd like to cover is that I am very, very like lucky enough to get into Aditya Birla Group. And one additional point is that I chose industry over a big four firm. So like this is also a very common question which usually people have, whether to choose an industry or a big four or a CM mid-size firm. So I don't regret about my decision at all 8 months down the line. So it's been 8 months I've joined Aditya Birla Group. The best part about being in an industry is that the exposure which you get in an industry, it's way better than the exposure which I'll get in a mid-size firm. So let's take an easy example of my experience as well. So like only in my 6th or 7th month itself, there was a Chairman Connect special session. So I had got an opportunity to interact with the chairman directly, Kumar Mangalam Birla himself. So it was such an amazing opportunity which was given to me, and because of which I was able to interact with him for 5 minutes and I was able to ask questions to him as well. So of course it depends upon your performance, how you perform in a company, and then only you're selected whether you want to connect or not. Let's take one more example. There are lit sessions which were organized by Aditya Birla Group. So these sessions were for MBA aspirants, so who were doing MBA in IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore. So there were lit sessions, and the lit session, they were like more or less like they used to invite the group leaders. So all the group leaders, as in who used to work with Kumar Mangalam Birla, they used to come in the sessions, and I was given an opportunity to moderate this session for 45 minutes. So for 45 minutes, I was interacting with one of the best minds across our country. And it was as if I was asking them questions and they were answering to my questions, and almost 2000 people were watching that particular video. It was live session. So these kind of opportunities, I don't think we'll get in a mid-sized firm or in a big four firm, because these multinational conglomerates, they have such a huge diversity and such a huge employee base as well, that we get to interact with a lot of people and we get to understand very like we get to understand a lot of experience of a lot of people. So I think I don't regret at all about my decision. And as far as my work profile is concerned, that is also very, very nice. So like I've been working on various projects as well, like identifying M&A opportunities, creating financial models. Then there are a lot of industries where we want to enter in. Then we have to identify the feasibility. We have to calculate the NPV, IRR analysis. So whatever we have learned in our CFA or in our SFM subject, that I'm able to apply it in my finance profile. So this is the best part. And when someone asks me like whether to choose an industry versus a big four, like I am of the opinion that the biggest mistake which I've made in my life is I didn't go for industrial training. So trust me, the exposure which you'll get in an industry is way much better than the exposure which you'll get in a CA firm. And I think I'm biased towards the industry side because of my past 8 months experience, which has been more than amazing.
Yeah, completely with you. And this is my industrial training experience.
Yeah, exactly. And one more thing is that कि हमने अभी 3 साल आर्टिकलशिप में वो काम किया ही है, अभी बिग फोर में हो या मिड साइज फर्म में हो. And after your CA finals, if you're doing the same work, कैसा होगा कि you would be only promoted to a manager level. But at the end of the day, you're working the same thing. Either you're going to audit or you're going to work in tax. तो जो पहले आर्टिकल लेवल पे करते थे, अभी वो आप मैनेजर लेवल पे करोगे. तो जो आप पहले आर्टिकल बन के करते थे, अभी आप सिर्फ आर्टिकल के थ्रू करवाओगे. So it's like you have been promoted, thode responsibilities बढ़ जाएंगे, that's it, but the work
हाँ.
is going to remain the same. So therefore, I don't recommend anyone to continue in the organization where they have done their articleship, because at the end of the day, you would be doing the same work, and there's no use if you're doing the same work even after your qualification.
Absolutely.
This is really insightful and amazing.
Yeah,
No
thank you,
worries.
Kushal. I mean, it
No worries
really,
at
really
all.
helps to take a decision, further.
Absolutely, absolutely. So
Fantastic.
like, just reach out to as many people as possible, all your seniors, like all of them are ready to help. So there's no one who will deny for any help. So just reach out to as many people as possible, and you will create wonders in your life. Trust me.
Thank you so much, Kushal. I mean,
Mm,
we were extremely delighted to, have this session and speak our hearts out. Thank you so much for
No
this.
worries at all. Any other question you guys have?
Mm.
No, I
And
think that's about it. This was
All
like
right.
really, really interesting, and we got to learn many new things from
right.
you.
No worries, no worries. So it's indeed an honor for me as well to interact with both of you. So thank you so much for coming up here. I think it was a very insightful discussion with the two of you. I hope this is going to help a lot of CA aspirants choose their career path, and qualified CAs as well to decide where they want to go in. So yeah, thank you so much
Definitely.
for coming up here, and congratulations once again. Wish you all the best for your bright future.
Thank you. And Kushal, please keep going. I mean, your videos are really helpful to the larger audience. Just keep going and make more such videos for all of
Thanks.
us.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Kushal. This has really helped, and like we've been following the earlier videos also, and they've been
Right.
like really insightful, and they've really helped us make the correct decision. And we are
Thank
hoping
you.
to do that in future too.
Yeah, thank you so much. It really means a lot. Like, these kind of words motivate me to create more videos, to be honest. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yep, bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.